Using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal.
and Coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And folks, today we're going to have an amazing show. This is in honor of Black History Month. And believe me, folks, we've been doing great since February 1st. We've had 2 shows so far, which has been amazing. We talked about Black Pride. We talked about Black Ingenuity. We talked about the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And today we've got an amazing guest on here who will teach you guys about some organic medicine in the Black community. So, co-host, how you doing?
I am good. I'm trying to get our guest on, and he's using his phone, and so I'm struggling a little bit here. Let me see.
Well, you can go ahead and take care of him, and I'll just share some information with our audience.
Okay, do that for me. Hello, everyone. Glad that you're here.
We've got the princess here along with Coach Gilbert Buchanan, folks. So we're going to have an amazing show today. But before we get started, folks, we just want to make sure that you guys go to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Subscription is free, guys. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. So just go ahead, subscribe to the Business Zone. Also, you hit the like button so that you can receive future show notifications and videos on other shows that we've got. Just so you know, this is the only small business program in town, a live podcast that deals with a class in session. You get a class live on the air, and what we do, we share information with you as to how to become business ready, contract ready, bank loan ready, certification ready, and nonprofit ready. Again, you're talking with some experts here, some super experts who've been in the industry for over 30 years, guys. Me and my co-hosts, folks, that's what we've been doing. So, co-hosts, how's it going?
Hello, how are you? Glad to be here, and it's been a busy week. I mean, all week long, there's just been multiple shows coming. I mean, multiple Black History events going on. I haven't been able to attend all of them, but I've been so busy, I hadn't been able to really jump out there and really enjoy. But it's been exciting. So many people are really connecting with Black history this year. And especially with the thing being Black resistance and being and that's really important in this day and age that we live in, because we just so many things are going on when it comes to our people, so we have to persist and resist, or resist and persist.
And that's been our theme, folks. That's been our theme since February 1st. We gotta persist and resist the man. We don't want him stepping on our throat anymore. That's why we want to make sure we prepare ourselves, we get ready, prepare our businesses so we can go after opportunities. Just remember, guys, you cannot get rich working for the man. 9 to 5 is not going to cut it for you. So the only way you can achieve some level of richness is to have your own business, be your own entrepreneur, go after a worldwide marketplace so you yourself can tap into opportunities. And we want to do a shout out to Miss Marianne Lopez, is one of our ardent listeners and viewers on the Business Zone every week from 3 to 4:30. Hey Marianne, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome. So we still haven't gotten our guests situated
He
yet,
actually
co-host.
he yeah, he came in. He's in. Hey, Askia. Oops, he left. There he is. He's
Okay.
there. He's close.
He's touch and go for today, right?
Yeah, well, he'll be back in. He's coming in on his phone, so just got to make sure he got that right connection and stuff. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about celebrating Black history, but we're also going to talk about a topic that's really, really important. Hello, Marianne. Marianne, uh, another is about Black health. So, wellness and health is so important. As everyone says, our health is our really our wealth, right?
That's right.
And
That's right.
so we're gonna talk about that with him. And he actually is a third generation herbalist and holistic practitioner, which if we know anything about our history, our ancestors were practitioners. They used in Africa, and I know in Jamaica they did it because they brought it from the continent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So so our guest is the original bush doctor.
Or medicine man, or at least his ancestors were, right? Because they didn't have modern medicine in Africa. So,
No,
but
we didn't deal with modern medicine, at those in those times because the medicine we used, we knew the values, we knew the results, the curing properties of it. You didn't have side effects like, oh, you could lose an eye, or you might have a limb fall off, you might get a heart attack, or your
right,
blood vessels may clog up. You never
right.
have any of those side effects from our original medicine.
No,
So
no, no, not the well, and knowing that the original medicine actually is the pharmaceutical medicine is actually derived from the herbal herbs
yep.
and used. That's the basis for the medicine. And so then they put all these other chemicals in that, you take a medicine for one thing, and like you
And
said, a
something
limb,
else happened.
something else falls off, or be careful of this. It's like they have to tell you that, and you're like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll just stick with what I got. If I got to take that and it's going to do that, maybe I'll just. So I know my grandmother, who lived to be 103, she actually prescribed more to the herbal way of life.
Yeah,
She was actually a vegan,
yeah.
and so when you got sick, and her biggest prescription was every morning lemon with hot water, warm
Yeah,
hot water
yeah,
every morning. Drink your lemon juice with your
yeah,
hot water, and it will keep you regular and keep you healthy.
yeah.
And then every now and then she'd throw in a little apple cider vinegar, and take a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So my grandmother had no blood pressure problems. She had no diabetes. She had none of that when she passed.
You would be surprised how much value the apple cider has. The apple
I
cider
know,
vinegar. That
I
is
know.
amazing, man. Because yes, it's good for the blood pressure. It even helps some people lose weight. Now, I'm not a doctor, guys, and I'm not trying to prescribe anything for you, but I'm just telling you what works for me. Taking that apple cider vinegar, man, you take like a teaspoon of that thing. Oh man, it helps you, cleanses your body. It's got nutrients in it. It also helps some people lose weight. So yeah,
Oh, it's got tons of it does a whole lot. I mean, even beyond just the blood pressure, and that it um your skin, it detoxes the liver, it just does so much for you. So that was my grandmother's remedy. And then of course when you got a cold or something, you inhale Vicks and
yeah.
mints and eucalyptus, and you name it, they just pulled out. In every one of our cultures, we all have our remedies. And so is that, what's that, Eastern medicine versus Western medicine?
Versus Caribbean medicine.
And Caribbean medicine, which Caribbean medicine is a derivative of African medicine.
The motherland.
That's the motherland.
So Marian Lopez said, "Yeah, lemon in the morning with water. That's great." And that is true. That's true, Marian. See, back in Jamaica, when someone has a flu or they're congested, they got a cough, a cold in the stomach, what they do is they just get a pot of hot water. They put some orange peel in it. You put onions. You put some ginger, and then while that thing is boiling, you just put your face over it and you're just inhaling the steam out of that. That goes up in your nostril and it cleanses your body, man. Before you know it, you're clean. You're not sniffling anymore. You're not coughing. You do that like 2, 3 times a week. Woo, you're good.
Right, exactly. So that's what our ancestors, that's what our grandparents, our great grandparents, that's what they utilized because they didn't have money to be running to the doctor.
Yeah,
Um, um, in your, they had to do what they had to do, right? So
yeah.
that's what they did, and that's what this, what herbal medicine and holistic medicine is. And I'm more of um, a holistic
Holistic
type of
type
person.
person. Yeah,
And then the other side is food. Some
yeah,
is really about what you eat. And
yeah,
so our foods are full of all kinds of pesticides and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. But if you what you put in your body is what you're gonna get out. Let me tell the skier to get to the best
Yeah.
reception.
You know what's amazing though? The black and brown people are so similar in a lot of ways, but yet it's not spoken of because a lot of the same remedies that we use, people in the brown community use the same. It's
And
never
in the
spoken
Asian
of.
and in the Asian community as well.
Yes,
It,
yes,
it's
yes.
the same.
Yeah, ginger, man. Ginger is a
Oh,
very potent item that's good for your body. I take ginger every day. Every day, man. I have my ginger tea every day. As a matter of fact, I got my cup
ginger.
here, my ginger tea right now. You know.
And mine was pomegranate juice. I'm
Oh
big on
yeah, that's
pomegranate
good
juice.
too.
It's good too. So those are
That's
the
good
things
too.
that when our ancestors, boy, they knew how to go after. You get sick, and
Yeah.
during the pandemic, because it's all about making sure your body was strong. Hey, Askia, you're back. So hopefully you're in a good you're in a good place. Gilbert and I are gonna do our little talking back and forth dialogue, and then we're gonna bring you in, and you can bring in the real deal. We just talking about the stuff that works for us, that has been passed on to us from our grandparents. But I remember when my grandmother came here to stay with us in California. So we took her to our family doctor. So my grandmother was 70. I think she was in her 70s when she came to live with us, right? So we
Hmm.
take her to our family doctor, and they're going through the intake, they're going through the intake to find out, because she's 70 years old. She got to have blood pressure problems.
Yeah.
She's got to have diabetes. She got to have something, right? Because you can't
Yeah.
be 70 years old and not have anything.
That's
And so
right.
they're looking for all these things. And so finally the doctor says, well, I don't understand. You don't have nothing. and She she was standing tall. She hadn't lost her height or anything. She was standing and feisty, feisty,
Oh
feisty,
yeah.
feisty,
And
and he was
strong.
and strong
And
and strong. So he
strong.
could not understand it. He was like, I don't understand what's happening here. And so we just basically said she lives like she did in Alabama, and she lives by eating foods that work well with her body.
Yeah.
She doesn't eat meats, so
Yeah.
no cholesterol problems, none of that. She just was very healthy, and they just kept going, but you got to take some kind of medication. She's like, no, I don't.
See, she's operating outside of their box. Their little boxes that people are always taking those over the counter drugs or taking certain things that will get them hooked on it. And she's not getting hooked. She's taking her natural remedies and it's really helping her because a lot of those natural remedies have antioxidants in it.
Yeah.
That purifies the system, your soul. So it's unbelievable, man.
Exactly. Right. So she knew how to share ginger and whatever else she did. And of course, my mom was very much like that. So she taught me how to be that way. But also, I think the other piece is understanding how your body, knowing everything of the nuances of your body and how it works. But one of the things the ski is gonna, when we bring him on, he's gonna talk about, and I'm gonna leave this. He has a yeah, he's a comedian as well. But he has a statement that he says, and so he will crack you up when he
So
uses
so
it.
he
But
dispenses is medication through comedy, right? via
Yes, he
via
does.
comedy.
Yes, he does. Yes, yes, he does. But we as Black people, one of the biggest issues besides our economic issues that we have, health is a major issue for us.
Oh, for
And
sure.
right, and we lost so many people during the pandemic because so many people had underlying health issues that they were not taken care of.
They were not paying attention to, and then the pandemic stepped in and decide to take over our body or our soul. So we can't afford to have that happen again. That's why we always want to be ready. Now sometimes we know we're supposed to do things but we don't. We know we're supposed to go to the doctors and we don't. A lot of our men in our community, they're supposed to see their urologist at least once a year. You turn to an African American male that you know in your family or in your community and ask them, "Have you been to the doctor? Have you been to your urologist over the last year?" They'll go, "Huh? What?" They haven't been there. And
Right,
then later
exactly.
on, you hear about the colon cancer, prostate cancer, and all that stuff. Yeah, they.
And we tend to ignore those signs, right?
Oh
Things are
yeah,
going on in our body, and we're like, "Oh, we'll get over it." And a lot of it is through fear.
yeah,
Most people, Black people especially, are so fearful of what it
yeah.
looks like, and the fact that health, being sick is very expensive. Gilbert, you found that out
Oh yeah.
when you went to the hospital. You found out that that was an expensive journey.
There are two primary reasons why a lot of us don't go to the doctors, right? Especially males. One is the expense because many of us don't have insurance,
Right.
because they try to sell us expensive insurance. So that's one. Secondly, when many of us go to the hospital, we don't come back.
That's
We don't
true.
come back. They don't let us out. So a lot of us say, "Hey, I'd rather take my chances on the streets, man, or at home. I'm not gonna deal with these guys." So that's why our guest is so critical today, because he's going to tell us, how we can deal with what he has to talk about today and not having to worry about, going to the doctors and worry about not coming back home or the expense.
Right, and the other part is that you don't get great health care in hospitals. They seem to think, it's so many myths when it comes to us, that we're superhuman, that
Mm-hmm.
we don't feel pain like everybody else feels
Mm-hmm.
pain. So, more of our women have died from childbirth because they'll
Mm-hmm.
just think, okay, you'll heal yourself in your room
Yeah.
because you got this extra bone or whatever craziness that they seem to think that
Yeah.
that happens with us. But we, notoriously, and I understand, is to my understanding that even when doctors are going through training, there when they talk about Black people, they talk about the fact that we don't feel pain like everybody else feels pain.
Yeah.
That this happens to us, or they automatically assume because you're Black, you have diabetes, or you have
Yeah.
right, you have blood pressure problems. So you come in and they give you insulin, and it's like, wait, but I don't have that. And I remember, Gilbert, when my uncle was in the hospital, I went in, and I was going to the medical. He was not at the hospital. He was at the rehab center, and I went in to see him. And I'm sitting there. The day before, he was eating. He was looking like he was getting stronger. He had pneumonia. He was looking like he's getting stronger. And this is before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so the next day, I go in, and there's a nurse there, and she's dispensing medicine. And so
Mm-hmm.
she goes over to the guy in the bed next to her, and next to my uncle, and she says to him, he was a Hispanic gentleman, here I'm coming with your insulin, Mr. Whatever, I can't remember what his name was. I'm thinking to myself, now, he's my uncle's been here for about 10 days. I've been here with the other nurses, I've never heard them say anything about this
About
man
insulin.
about insulin. And so I'm thinking, but he's not my uncle. So,
Yeah.
I don't know where his people are. So then she goes over to my uncle's bed and she goes, and Mr. Mitchell, we're going to give you your insulin. It's like, whoa, no, he ain't.
Whoa.
My uncle doesn't have diabetes.
What do you
What, he,
mean?
what are you talking about? She goes, yes, he does. Yeah, no, he doesn't. She goes, I said, you need to go check his chart. But I think we gave him to him yesterday. You cannot give a person who doesn't have diabetes diabetic medication, insulin. And sure enough, she got mad at me.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when I came in the next day, my uncle was really lethargic and he had to end up going to the hospital. And that was kind of the beginning of his demise. And
Yeah.
I know that girl gave him insulin
Yeah.
because she just insisted that
Yeah.
he had diabetes. I said, no, he's here because he had pneumonia.
Yeah.
And then while he was in the hospital, he got an infection and they
Hmm.
had cleared all of that up.
Yeah.
And here he was supposed to be rehabbing. But that's why we have to
They
be careful.
they don't really care about us, man. That's why we got to care about ourselves. And I must admit that, and I'm sure it's the same in the brown community, but in the African American community, a lot of our men, we don't, take care of ourselves health wise. And the women are the ones who are on top of their health. They'll go to the doctors, every other month, every 6 months to get themselves checked. And that's part of the reason why they live longer than us. you know, that's part of the reason, man. And the second part to that is what you just mentioned about when we go to the doctors, to the hospitals, they give us stuff and not only do they misdiagnose us, they um uh dispense
Yes.
medication to us because they did the same thing to my mom. They killed my mom in 2018. She
Yeah.
walked in there for a regular checkup. Next thing you know, 10 minutes later, she's dead because
Right.
they gave her something claiming that they said she had a heart attack, she had a kidney attack, she had intestinal problems. How could she have those when she never had it 10 minutes ago?
Right, exactly. So that's the and so I'm going to say this to everyone that's listening. You have to have an advocate. You have to share if you especially
Hmm.
if you're ill, you have to, and that advocate needs to be someone that doesn't have a problem with with disagreeing with the doctors,
Yeah,
and making sure double checking and checking 2 or 3 times, and
yeah,
then not having, because I know with my uncle when he had prostate cancer and they went through
yeah,
treatment, and I went in and I told the doctor, and he was at the VA, and I
yeah,
told the doctor, I said, let me tell you something, let me so that you will understand that this is a human being and not
yeah.
just some number that just walked in here.
An
Let me
experiment.
an experiment. Let me tell you what he was capable of doing before he was diagnosed, and let me tell you what I expect to
Yeah.
happen when we leave this place. And so when I got done, he's like, "Okay." So here I was, and I said, "And before you do anything to him, you need to check with me. Call me. Nurses call me. Everybody better call me before you do anything to him if I'm not here." And that's exactly what happened the
I
first time.
love it. I love it. I
So
love it.
that kind of advocator, you need somebody to go and just kick some folks in the butt.
And I'm telling you, you're right, man. If you have someone in the family who is very passive, they can just push things onto them and they accept it and kill the family members. Because my sister, she is the one who took my mom to the doctors, right? For
Uh-huh.
checkup. So they tell my sister to leave the room. They say, "Oh, you got to go outside." And as soon as she went outside, they call her back and say, "Hey, sorry for your loss." So she said, "What? Sorry for what? What loss? Your mom
Right.
just died." I said, "What?"
Right.
So I blame my sister, man, because you know, if I were there with my mom, there's no way I'm leaving that room. I'm going. I want to see what's going because we know that they misdispense medication from time to time to our people. We know that they misdiagnose us from because the first thing they ask you, do you have a family history of diabetes?
Right.
No. You
No.
sure? No, we don't have it. You see what I'm saying?
But all black people supposed to have that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. I mean, that's the
Unbelievable.
first thing you read about. It's like, okay, we know that this you supposed to have this, but not everybody has that. So yeah, it's very, very important. So I'm gonna tell our listening audience that make sure that you have an advocate, and do not be afraid to question doctors, because doctors don't always know everything. They know what they may specialize in, but if during their medical training they were not exposed to the healing of black people or brown people or Asian people, then in my opinion, you don't have the expertise. You have the expertise for whoever you had in your while you were learning, in school, and when you had on in the hospital training. So if there were no black people in your town, then you probably didn't have an opportunity to treat any black folks.
Well, there's a reason why they call them physicians. Physicians. That
Hmm.
means that they don't really know the real answers, but what they can do is to test things, try things out to see how it works, what type of results you get from it. So that's what they do with us when we get in there. They're trying certain medications on us to see how we react to it and whether or not it helped us. I remember when I had COVID, man, and I was in the hospital. They tried all kind of medication on me. Medication I've never seen or heard of before. They had
Right.
one medication. The name is like 26 letters. I'm going, what? I said, I don't know it. But because I was in such pain and my body was, see, that's what they do to us.
Yeah.
Because they know the state that you're in and you're thinking, hey, anything will feel better than how I'm feeling right now.
Right.
So we agree to take certain medication. And that's what they do. And a lot of people went in for COVID and stuff and they die. I don't think it was COVID that killed them. It's the medication that they're trying on them that killed them.
And Gilbert, you're absolutely right. And the scary part about COVID, which is why I was adamant about making sure that I didn't get it. Hey, Fernando, was that no, your loved ones couldn't come to see you, right?
Right. That's another thing.
Yeah, your
That's
loved
another
ones
thing.
could not be there with you. So you didn't they nobody knew what was happening to you, because you're in this hospital and they didn't even allow you were on like your
You, you're
iPad or
you,
something
you
like
you
that.
are in a test lab. That's what you were in, a test lab. So they test all these different medications on you. Now, if the medication doesn't work and you die, they just call your family and say, "Oh, sorry, he died from COVID." When it wasn't COVID, it was those bogus medication they're trying.
Right.
Because the one they tried on me was from Canada, never been tested, wasn't approved by the FDA. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were in the laboratory, man. Laboratory.
I was a lab rat. So they tried it on me. I'm going, shoot. That's why, I was telling you that when I was laying there in the bed, I'm going, man, you know, if, if, if these medications should take me out, I'm asking myself, did I do enough to help small businesses? That's what I was there thinking. I'm going, did I do enough? And if I do make it out of here, I want to make sure I go the extra mile to help small businesses
Right.
get what they need from me. It was unbelievable, man.
Oh yeah, and I remember, I talked to you a couple of times, and of course no one could come see you, so I was worried about you, but I knew I couldn't come in, and I knew you didn't have any family here. It's like, who the heck
Right.
is gonna advocate for this man?
Exactly.
Because he can't.
Exactly.
And if I
And
came, I'm not family, so they weren't gonna let me in anyway. So
and then they had a doctor there, the doctor that they assigned me to, right? He wouldn't even come near me. He would stay outside of the room, outside the door, and try to talk to me in a language that was so thick I couldn't understand it, right? So he kept telling me, he said, "Oh, your kidneys are bad. Your kidneys are bad." I said, "What do you mean my kidneys are bad?" "Oh, it's really bad." I said, I said, "Is it 10%, 20% bad? How bad is it?" "Oh, it's bad." I'm going, man, this dude is just trying to harvest my kidneys so he can sell it on the black market for, for $300,000 to $500,000. Because think about it. If they cut out my kidneys and they sold it, right? And I die, They can
Right.
say, hey, he died from COVID. Who's going to come check my back to see that there's a cut back there and that they took my kidneys out?
Right,
Nobody.
exactly. Yeah, because your family not here. They didn't have to ask for an
Yeah, they're not
autopsy.
here. So that was unbelievable, man. So he would be saying, I was in there for 2 weeks, and every day for 2 weeks, he kept telling me, oh, your kidneys are bad. I said, listen, doctor, I don't want to hear any more about this kidney stuff because you can't tell me what is wrong with the kidneys or how bad it is. See, that's the thing, folks. And I want to say this to all people who are listening to me right now. All right. And anyone who's listening to this business zone, I want you to think about this. If you never took biology in high school or in college, you want to start associating yourself with biology, how things work, how the lungs work, how the blood system work, how the pulmonary system work. That has to do with your heart and and then your lungs, how that work, how the legs work, how many bones are in your bodies, which one get affected by certain things. You need to know that, guys, because a lot of these doctors, they come to you with some bogus information which has nothing to do with anything. See, he didn't know I knew about biology. I did biology in high school, in college, in grad school. So I knew. So when he asked me certain things, when he told me certain things, then I asked him, okay, what's the side effects? How is this going to affect this organ? How is it connected to this organ? Because you know your liver and your kidneys are filtration system. They filters things
Right,
in your body. So
right,
anything you take is going to go through those two filtration systems. It's like having a in your air conditioning unit, you've got that little filter, right?
right.
It filters out the dust and all of that stuff, so you don't
And
breathe in the dust.
that's what the
That's
kidney and the liver
that's what
does.
the kidneys and the livers do. So when he's telling me all this smack, I'm going, I know about the kidneys and the liver. I know the way you're saying is not making sense.
I said, wait a minute, I know about this stuff.
I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
my body better than anyone else.
And that right there is the key right there, Gilbert. Knowing
Yeah.
your body, knowing how your
Yes.
body functions,
Yes.
knowing how when you're not feeling well, you know exactly what's working and what's not working, and
Yes.
then understanding what will make your body work. And certain
Yes.
things like excessive stress and things like that makes us our blood pressure could elevate just because we're living under so much stress. So we have to learn how to
Yes.
self-care, self-preservation. So
Yes.
that's important with us. And you're right, you can't, when I go, I got a whole, you tell me something like, okay, well, what does that really mean? Give me this and that so I can go do my own research online
Yeah. Yeah.
and see what that looks like. But yeah, don't take it, and that's what happens to a lot of our people. A lot of us were raised, or let's best, especially our grandparents and our parents, we were raised that the doctor knew best, so you
Yeah.
didn't question the doctor, right?
Exactly.
Right. So no, you got to question the doctor. You got to go,
Yeah.
and you got to go do your own research, and you
And
got to have questions.
something else that's interesting, co-host. After I left the hospital after COVID, right? I was supposed
Mhm.
to do a follow-up with my personal doctor like 30 days down the road, right?
Mhm.
So I did the follow-up. They gave me some medication. I don't remember the name of it, right? One of the medications that they gave me, it makes I start seeing some black veins on my feet. On my feet.
Ah,
Black
really?
veins, and I'm going from my toes all the way up to my shin. So I'm going, what the heck is this? So I said, doctor, what is this? He said, oh, maybe sometimes it's a medication. Just sleep it off. I said, hell to the no. I'm not taking any more of these medications because we don't know. I said, tell me what the side effects are of this. So when he went on to, I think it's WebMD or whatever he did,
Uh-huh.
right? He looked and he saw that the medication he was giving me, one of the side effects is that it's going to give you that black vein appearance on your feet. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going, what? I said, no, 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 no. I'm not taking. That's why, folks, as minorities, black and brown people, we need to ask questions. We need to challenge authority. We need to find out before we put stuff in our temple, our body. We
Right.
need to know what's the side effects of this thing, and then based on the side effects, you can make a calculated decision whether or not you want to take that, because some of these medications, they either make you drowsy. When you read the side effects, it's, oh, you could get a headache, you could get a heart
Mhm.
attack, your eye
Mhm.
can start swelling. You want to know those things so you make those decisions yourself.
For sure. When I went to get my physical, and I have white coat syndrome.
Yeah.
And so whenever I go to a facility, it doesn't matter. You could be checking my blood pressure out in the middle of the park, and if you got on a white coat, my blood pressure gets all crazy, right? So I know this, and so I usually tell them that up front. So of course, when I went to get my physical, it came back that way, and I told him, I said, so, and you got to kind of ask questions, right? What's your
Yeah.
stress levels and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I told the doctor, I said, I do have a white coat syndrome, and generally it elevates, but I do know that I and I'm under a lot of stress right now. And
Yeah.
so I said, so here's the thing. Um I know also, this like everybody else in America or in the world, I picked up my COVID weight, and I
Yeah.
knew that the COVID weight is the problem. So if
Yeah.
we can get the weight off,
Yeah.
then the blood pressure is going to come down. I said, but
Right.
I'd rather try food. If you tell me I only need to eat fruit and salads every day, I will eat
That's what
fruits
I'll
and
be
salads.
eating.
That's what I will eat. You don't have to tell me anything else. That's what I will do, but
Yeah.
I don't want to take blood pressure medication because it
Right.
then works on other issues. And next thing you know, you got diabetes. You're like, well, how the hell I get that? Because something in that medication uh,
see, see,
caused that problem.
the thing is, co-host, blood pressure medication for women, it has some side effects, but it's not as devastating as blood pressure medication for men. Because
I
with us, depending on the medication they give you as a man, and I'm saying this so all of the men know that. That's why they need to pay attention to our next guest. Okay, when you take those medications, guy, from the doctors, you can become impotent. I'm telling you that. You can become. So you got to question those doctors, man, and say, hey, which one of these have, because they don't give you just one, they give you a combination like two or so,
yeah,
right?
yeah, or
So
four
you
or
say,
five.
yeah. So you say, which one of these combination has a higher possibility of me becoming impotent from this stuff? And
Yeah.
so, because they don't expect that question. So when you ask them that, it forces them to go do their research, and then they'll come back and say, well, these two put together, you have a 50% chance. These two over here, 65%. This one over here is 30%. All right, give me the 30% one. That one is less than.
If it's gotta happen, maybe it'll happen later.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that's why I'm telling you, man. We got to take care of ourselves. So, because with blood pressure, if you have that problem, you're stuck for life taking that medication for
Yeah.
life.
That's why, if you can avoid it. So with that, I believe our guest now
Is back,
actually,
yes.
yeah, I think he has a stronger connection. So we're gonna bring him on in, and we'll just work with his connection. And
Dr. Mauwakkil, right?
hello, Askia. How are you?
Doctor, how you doing, sir?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Let me see if I can
I
move
think
here.
his bars are down really low, really
Yeah,
low.
this one actually it just came back up. So I'm gonna take him. Yeah, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Can you
We
speak?
can't hear you. Check the audio on your phone to see if it's muted, and then you
And
can try to
actually,
unmute yourself.
he can actually turn. You can turn your the if the video is pulling in too much internet power, turn the video off and just we can talk to you.
Yeah.
That might work better.
Doctor, can you hear us?
Askia, I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't
see.
think he can. Go ahead and call us, Doc.
Yeah, you can call in. Well, yeah. Let me see. Can he? It might be these two. Let me remove this one and let's see if this one. I'm gonna take him out, and then I'm gonna take him back again.
So while you're setting that up, co-host, I just want to remind our folks, please do go to YouTube, click that subscribe button. Subscription is free. You don't have to worry about paying or giving us anything. Just click the subscription button. So you now become a part of our communication chain, so we can send you notification alerts and also information, vital information that we talk about on the show. This is the number one small business podcast, folks, in Southern California and the world as far as we're concerned, because we provide advice, we provide coaching, and a lot of resources for small businesses. We help you to become business ready, contract ready, loan ready, certification ready, and nonprofit ready. So
Right.
let's see if
Let me
our
see if I can call him. I don't know if that's gonna work, but let's see.
yeah, let's see if we can do that and then put him on the
And
mic.
let's see if we can put him on the mic.
Okay, Crystal.
Okay.
I can just talk. I
Uh,
can't
uh,
see nothing.
that's
Yeah,
okay. Can you hear him,
yeah,
Gilbert?
yeah. I
No.
can hear you. I can hear you.
I can
So
hear.
turn up your volume a little bit more, Doc. Turn up your volume a little bit higher,
Hello?
and
Yeah, can you
so,
hear? Because I'm gonna turn my phone up a little higher so you can
so
hear.
the whole world can hear
Oh,
you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you just so you know, Doc, some of our
Oh,
ancestors back in Africa is listening to this show right now. So
Okay. So let me see Gilbert because he's on my phone. So I don't know. Okay, if you can hear us. So
I can hear.
and can you hear Gilbert? Because
Yeah,
you're
yeah, I can hear.
okay. So go ahead. So guys, everyone, this is Askia Mauwakkil. Mauwakkil.
Mawakil.
get it too.
He did. So we want
Mawakil.
Mauwakkil. So we want to welcome you to the business zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And Gilbert and I were trying to do our best while we were waiting for you to come on. So
Oh, baby, I'll try it. I don't know what's going on.
that's okay. That sometimes the internet is just crazy. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a holistic practitioner. I'm fifth generation. I always got to give my credit to my ancestors. My great
Yeah.
uncle was Booker T. Washington, herbalist MD, and George
Really?
Washington Carver's. My
Really
mother's from
now?
Tuskegee, Alabama, and my
All
great
right.
grandmother from Ghana. She was an herbalist over there. So I say for 5 generations, that's what we have done to be able to assist.
Right. And so that means so 5 generations. So initially started on the motherland, obviously in Ghana,
Oh yes, yes.
right? And it was my understanding that which is interesting considering how they were all round up, but a lot of them brought a lot of their herbs with them, the medicine
They brought,
doctors.
yeah, they brought the herbs, but they brought a mindset too.
Yeah.
You know, the mindset was very important is learning how. One thing that I see even in my practice here that we have so many problems is because people internalize so much pain. And in Africa, it was you learn how to let things go. So they brought a certain type of mindset about health, you know, to us. So it was learning how to let go of pain because we sometimes we be mad at our brother and sister when we're 6 because they stole a cookie and we 66 and still mad. We hold on to so much pain. Disease comes out of dis-ease. I'm dis-ease in my mental status, and it physically affects me in my body.
Wow. So basically, for those of you who are listening, so he's saying your dis-ease, if you are under stress and angry and you have hatred in your heart, it's going to manifest itself in your body. Just as Gilbert said, that liver and those kidneys, man, and the heart, they all kind of work together. So so the herbs that is used, I do know that as we were as I know with my grandmother, she would go out in her little herb garden and come back with stuff.
Yeah, you know, we come from that background. It was like when we were kids, everybody's mama. We didn't know what it was, though. They kept on telling us it was a hot water bottle. It was something else. We thought it was a hot water bottle. You know, so everybody from that generation knew a little. Everybody's mother or grandmother knew something to do. If it was some castor oil, some type of product that's out there to give you, and down south, a lot of times they would use the mud.
Yeah.
If you had a cut or something, they would use mud on you.
Wow.
You
Yeah,
know,
castor oil, all kind of different products. One thing that we have got into is that we're so caught up into Western medicine. Let me say something about Western medicine. It has this purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of herbalist going to say everything that the medical profession does is wrong.
Right.
But you have to be able to do it. Before somebody comes to see me, I want them to go get a checkup. I want them to go get tested. It makes it easier for me. What can I do if I can do anything?
Yeah.
Right.
But be able to assist. So you want to use both at the same time. But a lot of times we just have issues. Look, 150 years ago, African Americans were the most physically fit people on the planet. 150 years later, we the sickest. Now, how did we come from being so healthy that they wanted to steal us, to work us to death, and 150 years later, we have internalized the pain, the conflict, that we're the sickest people on the planet.
Yeah.
Overweight, black man with prostrate, everybody has cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, you name it, we got it. Yeah. And a lot of it is just working on things inside yourself, learning how to let things go. You know, sometimes we want to be right all out. And I spend a lot of time with this because a lot of times we don't know mentally. It's like this. We believe that our opinion is the only opinion to have. One time, an old man, Mr. Jenkins, he's 95.
Mr. Jenkins. I think every community has a Mr. Jenkins.
Where you been? The turtle said, I've been on land. The fish said, you lying. He said, what in the hell is land? So the turtle said, well, they got insects, they got people, they got mountains, they got trees, they got desert on land. And then the fish said, and then the turtle said, and it's dry too. The fish said, I know you lying. What the hell is dry? The turtle said, let's talk about something else. The lesson in that is that you can't talk to something about if that person doesn't understand it.
Right.
Just let it go. Change the subject. Doesn't make any sense to argue and bring up your high blood pressure, throw your whole body off.
Yeah.
Wow. Gilbert, you had a question for
Yeah, doctor, I want to ask you if you have ever encountered this. Back in Jamaica, when we had issues, headache, stomach ache, joint ache, and all of that.
Yes.
What we used to do is we used to make a hot pot of tea out of ganja, marijuana.
So Gilbert said
a hot pot of tea and we drink it. I would feel better the next day.
So Gilbert is from Jamaica. And so he was saying when they weren't feeling well, they would go and make a hot pot of water, and then they would put ganja in it, and then the next day they would be feeling better. And today, they use marijuana for medicinal purposes.
Yeah.
And so he was saying, what do you think about that? Is that?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
See, a lot of times, the reason why marijuana haven't been used as often as it could have been all the time, because you could grow it in your backyard.
Yeah.
Just because you could grow it in your backyard, they're gonna say it has no quality to it because it could be too frequent.
Yeah.
Soon as they find out that the society have changed in its attitude and you could grow it, it's a different thing. But if you could have something by yourself, see, there is no. We have to understand the medical profession. There is no money in health. Money is in sickness.
That is very, very true.
If you stayed healthy, then they couldn't make no money.
Exactly.
Right.
And I know that's the case. I know that's the case with like weight. That's a $1 billion industry in this country. And it seems like in America, we have the most problems with weight, more so than any other country in this world. But Yeah, and you would think that they would have a cure for overweight, especially since it causes, is the leading cause of diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure. But it seems like they're always playing around with the medic. If you find something that works, then they take it off the market like right away, right? Somebody comes along and said there's an herb that works for you and you can drop the weight, and then as long as you maintain your eating and your exercise, you can. But all of a sudden it's like, oh no, you can't have that no more.
Well, and especially an aspect in the Black community, we have to understand that overweightness was a sign of wealth down south. If you go down south and you're thin and you have a pocket full of money, your old auntie would look at you and say, "Why are you so poor?"
That's true.
So poverty, being thin or being in weight was a sign of, being overweight was a sign of wealth down south.
Right.
Because that means that you could work the farm, you could do whatever you want. So somebody that was thin, that wasn't a sign of wealth. That means they didn't eat bad. People, used to be a saying that man hits the stomach and say, "Hey, that's a woman's playground." Being overweight was a sign of wealth. Because most people, if you look at the 1920s, 1910s and before, most people were vegetarians.
Yeah.
To a large degree. Because you ate black beans, you ate collard green, you ate yams, you ate everything, every kind of vegetable. And Sunday was a day of meat. And they used to call it the chicken gospel bird.
Yeah.
Because it was on a Sunday. And
that was the only time they would eat meat, would be on a Sunday.
Right. And I would think just because in Africa, when our ancestors came from Africa, you did eat more fruits and vegetables, or especially berries and things like that, because there wasn't the animals were not something you would go out and hunt. And I know with the native indigenous population as well, they were mostly grains and fruits and vegetables, and not necessarily. So I guess that means that man was primarily a vegetarian.
Man was vegetarian. Now I'm not, we just say the truth. Europeans eat a lot of meat.
Yeah.
A lot of meat eaters.
Yeah.
They were travelers. They ate a lot of meat. In fact, they're the only people that eat meat raw. We like steak cooked. Cook our food. Don't give me no half cooked food. I want myself almost burnt. That's just the way we are. But we were basically vegetarians up until they changed the laws, and the meat packing companies and everything start lobbying and making it more of a part of our diet. In fact, a rich man's disease used to be cholesterol. Because rich people were the only ones that could eat meat. That's an amazing. It costs you more, right, even today, to buy a stem of broccoli than it costs you to get a McDonald's burger.
It really, really does.
Yeah.
And I think in Africa, the kings, the African kings, they also the more the bigger you were as in body weight, that you are absolutely right. It represented your wealth.
It's a sign of wealth.
Yeah.
So we have incorporated this. We put anything in our down south. It wasn't about being nutrition. It was about being full. See, so a lot of times we carry that over now. We worry about being full. We have McDonald's, Jack in the Box, all them, but we're full. The body don't never crave that for that much food. The body really doesn't. I tell people, get smaller plates. It's a psychological thing when you have a big plate, because now, our mother taught us eat everything on your plate. They didn't say eat till you get full. They said eat all the food on your plate.
Yeah.
So we overextend ourselves with eating.
Yeah,
a meal and a half a day, that's fine. But your body only craves for a little bit bigger than a fist full of food.
Wow.
We put a big old steak and potatoes, and then we hit our stomach when we get full. Oh, I can't eat another drop. You were full an hour ago.
So So what are some of the herbs that, just if you don't have an illness, but just to maintain?
Well, it depends on what you want to do. Like I tell people, because I hear a lot of times, when people come to me, they tell me, now I've been an herbalist for over 35, 40 years. Then they're going to tell me, I need some Irish moss. Don't tell me what I need, what you need. Let me tell you what you need. But you want to tell me where I want to get this. Go down to GNC and get it then. But I'm dealing with high quality, good. High standard herbs. You don't know what you put in your body, but you hear something. Take green tea. Take Irish moss. Take this. You hear from Willie Jones. Who in the hell is Willie Jones? What's he know anything about herbs? He's a street. I remember doing COVID. Somebody was telling me, take these teas and stuff because his gardener told him that this would solve a COVID. I said, so you went to your gardener. I said, well, your doctor must be cutting some grass because your gardener is giving you prescription on what to do for COVID. See, we do silly things. and cleaning the body. See, you have what you call cleaning herbs. You have what you call building herbs. You have what you call for particular reasons. Not one herb does everything. So Irish moss is very good. It's very good for the thyroid. But it's not an all-around herb for everything. It's good. And see, there is not one herb good for one thing. It's always good for multiple things. Yeah. So like, first the thing you got to do is clean your body. Some people ain't never cleaned their body. It's like driving the car without ever changing your oil.
And what does that mean, clean your body? What exactly?
Cleaning. Year after year of eating, month after month of eating, you have a whole bunch of impurities in your bloodstream. So what you want to do is clean it. You can't change your oil until you clean the filter. So you got to clean your filter, clean the waste and all the sickness out of your body. And that's say some herbs like Casa Sagrada, mandrake, rhubarb. These are herbs for cleaning the body. If you want to build a body, there's other like kelp. Kelp is very good high in iron. Kelp is in the same family as Irish moss. So it's in the same family. So you want to buy herbs that have high in iodine that help regulate your thyroid. Most people don't thyroid dissolve. And then you want bodies that build your body. Strong herb, spirulina, very strong herb. It's what you call a superfood, but they're fine, but not alone. That's what I do. I put herbs together and put them in the same family, and they work more effectively because not just working one aspect, it's working another. So if you want to clean out your body, you want to clean out your liver, kidney, spleen, bladder. You got different organs in your body. Each one of them has to be paid attention to clean the body. Then you start building the body, putting high nutrition in the body. Once you bring out high nutrition in the body, then you work on bringing out the excess fluid, water. Sometimes people hold 10 or 15 pounds of water still in their system.
Wow.
They haven't cleaned out their body. When you're able to do that, see, on the farm, they got two kind of animals. They got a thoroughbred and a mutt. You have to ask yourself, am I a thoroughbred or am I a mutt on how I treat myself and what I eat? You have to be able to say, look, do I need all this? Do I need all this food? With me, I've been doing this. I'm about 190, a little bit overweight, 196 feet tall. But I only eat maybe a meal and a half a day. People tell you to have a big breakfast. Why? Breakfast, the word breakfast come a word means break fast. Why would you break a fast with a heavy meal?
Right, exactly.
Your lunch should be your heaviest meal. Breakfast should be some kind of nutrition. And nighttime should be a light meal. Why? Because you're getting ready to go to sleep. You're getting ready to go back into a fasting state in your life. And when you do that, then your body say, my mother, she passed in 2020. She was 100 years old.
Wow.
Her grandmother, Grandma Winnie, was 114 when she passed. Now, people say, well, you just in your genetics. Well, a lot of time it is not genetics. It's on how you treat yourself. You're still mad, you're upset, argumentative person. You know, you could be a vegan vegetarian with a negative personality. You're as bad a shape as a 500-pound happy person.
And you know, that's so true, because you hear, you know, people that are vegans and then they die of cancer, and you're like, wait, how did that happen? But again, their personalities or their lifestyle also had. So when we talk about you being a herbalist, but you're also holistic, you're talking about the maintenance of the whole body and mind, right?
Mind and body. Read something. I don't give a damn what you read. Read something else. If you read the Bible, that ain't the only book ever written. Read something else. You know,
right?
And whatever. And one thing I said about what your mind said is learn how to work on you. I always remember 6 billion sperm tested for one egg, and you only one made it. 100 billion planets in the Milky Way galaxy, 2 trillion galaxies in the universe, and you here. But you ain't working on you. You work on everybody else. Let other people have their belief system, you have yours. And praise the Lord, thank you, Jesus. Stop you from breaking in my house. Praise the Lord, thank you, Jesus. If I'm doing Allah Akbar, stop you from robbing me, Allah Akbar. Bonnie got in Shalom. Whatever medication you need to keep you sane, take your medication. But when you try to give me your medication, you a dope dealer.
Told you he was a comedian. So you're absolutely right. That's how my grandmother lived her life, and she used herbs.
Just be happy.
Yeah.
You know, when you have a good person around, like your mother, your grandparent, whoever. See, my mother was such a good woman. She was a strong Christian woman. But the thing was that she wasn't by talk. She was by heart. If she was around Muslims, they would have thought she was a Muslim. If she was around Buddhists, they would have thought she was a Buddhist, because her character was so strong. See, it used to be 100 years ago that a person, it used to be valuable. Your value was on what you were. That's so important, because value means they used to spit in each other's hands, shake hands, and say, that's a contract. Now we got to have fine print. So it ain't about the value, the character of who you are. It's not about the value, it's about the valuables you have.
Right, exactly.
So I ain't got no quality, no character, but I got 3 Mercedes. So it's more, and that makes me who I am. No, your character, your word, your discipline, how you treat other people. That's the value you want to have in your life, not the valuable that you end up having at a flea market or throw away one day.
Right.
And that makes you healthy just by being happy.
Right. So let me ask this question. So since when our ancestors were in Africa, and obviously they were used.
So it looks like we got a disconnection.
Did you lose me?
No, I'm here.
Oh no. I think my internet is doing some weird things. Am I back, Gilbert, or not?
Yeah, you're back. I can hear you.
Okay.
And folks out there, if you can hear us, just put a little thing in the chat to let us know you can hear or you can't hear. Okay.
Yeah. So before we close out, I just want to know, so today, what are we doing? I mean, I know about us carrying all our pain and hurt and whatever. What do we need to do? I don't know we'll ever be the people we were when we came over here to this country, but what do we need to do as a people on being able to become healthy and work on our wellness?
Yeah, I think it's the combination of both. It's the eating right and it's the thinking right. You know, we owe this to our children, our grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not living enough to become grandparents, long enough to be grandparents now. The average grandmother in the African American community now is 28 years of age.
Wow.
We got issues.
Yeah.
And until we're able to face them and come to see someone like me, Don't have to be me, but I wish it was. Come see me, and we can work on some things for your own particular problem. Stop thinking that you know what you're doing. That ain't your background.
Right, exactly.
Look at yourself a certain way. If you're 10 or 15 pounds overweight, that's one thing. 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, you at another level. And sooner or later, it's going to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so I had somebody tell me that he got a big old stomach, but he run around telling everybody that's his lower chest.
But I agree with you. So my practitioner is Askia. So for you guys out there, if you're looking at Eastern medicine as well as your Western medicine, find out what you can do to, even if you do have to take Western medicine, that you make sure your body is strong enough to fight off all those other side effects as Gilbert just told you about.
I'm gonna throw my name out there and my number. Now throw my name out there. You can look me up. Askia is my first name. Last name is Muwwakkil. Should I give my phone number? I shouldn't.
I'll put that up. I will put it in. Yeah.
Put that out there.
Yeah, we'll put it up.
I just want people to start working on themselves.
Right.
Working on themselves. In fact, one program I think that African Americans have to work on with their children and grandchildren. Learn, like I said, being happy, but choose someone of character that you bring in your life.
Yeah.
I see our divorce rates are high.
Yeah.
Our relationships are high. The divorce rate high. Everything is high because you're not in order. Work on your order with inside yourself, and then you find everything comes your way.
Mm-hmm.
Always remember, what's meant to hit you will not miss you, and what's meant to miss you can never hit you. Everything's on time. It's just how you view time.
Mm.
We just have to start looking at life in a different way. So it's not unusual in the old country for people to be 75, 100 years old. We could get there. Some people, my great grandma Wendy, 114 years old.
Yeah.
And one thing that she would always say, and I didn't never meet her, but my mama passed it on, she just learned how to let things go. Just work on her happiness.
Exactly.
And once we get to the point of saying it ain't about the job, you didn't come here to do whatever job you're doing. You didn't come to earth to do that. That's how you get paid. But that's not your purpose. Work on your purpose. And when your children get 21, they're grown. Stop trying to be, some people see, a lot of times we try to be in our children's lives too much. We think the kid is 25 years old and you think they 385 months. They're not months.
They're grown people, huh?
They're grown people. Let them be grown. So if they need an advisor, they don't need a parent no more.
Right, exactly.
So if you want to counsel them, counsel them. But stop trying to be the parent. Stop getting involved with everybody's issues. Understand another thing. That one thing, one of the things that have affected human beings that didn't exist 500 years ago, and it was a mirror. People think the mirror, before, people never looked in the mirror. They never knew what they looked like. So their character became themselves. So now we worry about looking at the mirror. Learn to just work on you, work on your happiness. Learn that if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
That's what my grandma used to say. My mama used to say, you ain't got nothing nice to say, keep your mouth shut.
Just move on. It ain't important. It's your opinion. That's all it is. But working on your health, eating right. And when people come to see me, I try to deal with all three at the same time. Let's talk about what's bothering you. Why is it bothering you? Why should it bother you? I mean, then what you eating? You eating all this food? Well, eating dead food. Some eggs, bacon, and some flour. And that's your breakfast? And then you say, my energy level is low? Because you ain't put nothing there to refuel your energy. Learning how to just eat. And one thing we don't do, drink water.
Yeah, I drink a lot of water. So let me ask this before we close out, Skip.
Okay.
So you do you as a herb holistic practitioner, can you look into like the iridologist, the
Oh
eyes,
yeah. I look
and
right in your eye and see what's going on with you.
okay.
Just looking into your eye, feeling your pulse, looking at your skin, just a little mannerism when the person, I can sight them up pretty well, pretty accurate too. I would say so.
Mm.
So it's just learning how, it's just coming to a practitioner and learning about yourself. Just learn what to do. Just work on your life. Learn to, we just, like I said, we just internalizing too much and we're dying too soon.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you so much for calling in. we can take anyone any kind of way, but we love that you came in and talk.
Like, where I am? I'm over a neighbor's house. I couldn't get the signal at home, so I came to a neighbor.
Okay. Well, we are so appreciative because this was important.
They don't know I'm here. I came through the window.
Hey man, they may call the police.
Brother Gilbert,
Yes,
you get a chance
sir.
I'd like to hear from you, brother.
Yes, sir. I will. I will. I will.
Okay. All right, Askia. Thank you so much, and I will be talking to you soon because I got to give you my update.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. That was our amazing guest, right?
You're right. That was a guest. So there you go, guys. Take care of yourself. Get rid of your anxiety, your stress, and get rid of your anxiety, your stress. Don't hold things with you that you didn't been holding with you for the last 200 years. Make sure you're fueling your body, and that's what our ancestors did. And so everything he said was true. Fernando says, "Good stuff, sir."
In the same vein, I want to add something to that right now. I've done a little.
Your microphone is doing some weird things.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is it clear?
Yeah, it sounds like it almost has a short.
I think it's rubbing up against my shirt. That's what's going on.
Oh, okay.
That's what's going on. So is it still making that noise?
Yeah, it's speeding up. I don't know why, but it's speeding up. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll do something.
That was better, whatever you did right there.
That's better?
Yeah, just turn it down a little bit.
Oh.
There you go.
Is that good?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
yeah,
so
not bad.
I want to go ahead and add a few things. All right?
Okay.
I want to add a few points to this. So done a little research here. This African American doctor. She's done some research, some studies over the year. Her name is Dr. Fiola Sowemimo.
Mm-hmm.
From Central State Medical Center. So she states that there are 7 common health concerns African Americans should be monitoring. As a matter of fact, African Americans aged 18 to 49 are 2 times more likely to die of heart attack or heart disease than other Americans. 2 times more likely to die of heart disease than other Americans. Here are the 7 common health concerns. Heart disease, that's the number 1. They say that's the number 1 killer of Americans. And since we are 2 times more likely, then it's killing us more than everybody else. Okay? So that's number 1. The second is high blood pressure. It's also known as hypertension. So we need to monitor our blood pressure, folks. Make sure it doesn't get beyond. Like I said, I wasn't monitoring mine. I would eat a lot of salty food, a lot of food at high sodium. Some of those packaged foods that you buy in the supermarket at Costco, Smart and Final. Check out the sodium content, guys, because that sodium will get you. Some of these contents have like 850 milligrams of sodium. That will kill you, guys.
Yeah.
That will kill you. So high blood pressure, you want to maintain, monitor that. Okay. Then cancer, number 3. They said that's the #2 killer of all races. Okay, and then African American men are 50% more likely to die of that. So under the cancer category, there are several types of cancer. You got lung cancer, you got prostate cancer, breast cancer for women and men. A lot of people think that men don't get breast cancer, but believe me, guys, you can get it. I had to do surgery many years back because I had a lump in one of my breasts. I don't remember which one now, but you want to check that out. Colon cancer, abdominal cancer, kidney cancer, all of those things, folks, is stuff you want to check out. Okay. Number 4, diabetes. That's what they call high blood sugar. So you want to monitor that as well. You know, all that sugar, that sweet stuff that we eat, and the cake, all the cake that we like to eat, guys, on birthdays, start monitoring those. So diabetes is a number 4 on the list. Then number 5 is strokes, and these are vascular diseases. That means your blood vessels are blocked, they're clogged, your arteries, and it's from the type of food you eat, fatty foods or other types of food that create and generate fat. So you want to take a look at that, because you never know when you're going to get a stroke. You could be driving on the freeway, and all of a sudden you start getting lightheaded and getting dizzy. Your left arm starts seizing up, and next thing you know, you've got a stroke. And when you get a stroke, you don't know what can happen, especially if you're driving on the freeway. You can hit the gas, because it affects your body that way, and you're in thick traffic and you're hitting everybody else on the freeway. That could be something that's not good. Then number 6, they call this artery disease, which is peripheral artery. This is where you want to make sure that the type of food that you're eating that goes directly to your heart does not contain cholesterol or fatty substances that can clog your arteries. Number 7 is sickle cell disease. Now, we know, and we've heard of this since birth, that African Americans suffer more of sickle cell than anyone else. But now they're finding that other minorities, it's creeping over into other minorities, the brown minorities. Okay, so we want to start looking into that too. They even have some whites who experience sickle cell. So folks, we need to monitor those things. So those are the 7 key health concerns that we need to be looking into. We need to start doing preventive health screenings. For the women, we want to start doing more mammograms, colonoscopies. We need to start doing that. I did mine, I think, 2-3 years ago. But we got to keep checking it. And for the men, make sure you check with your urologist, guys, every year. Every year, check that urologist. Get that prostate checked, because prostate cancer will sneak up on you, and before you know it, you're gone. So that's just my little tidbit of information I'd like to share today.
And I'm gonna add to that, Gilbert. We have to move more. We have to exercise, whatever your form of exercise, whether it's dancing, get up and move at least 30 minutes every single day. You can dance, you can walk up. If you live in a house that's got some stairs, walk up and down the stairs for 30 minutes. Do some squats, do some stretching. Do something to move your body. Our bodies were not designed to just sit. And some of the biggest issues, I think, Gilbert, I think remote work is fantastic, but one of the biggest things that I find is that if you don't move your body, it becomes stiff. As we get older, you find your gait is shortened. I mean, you're walking like this, because you can't take long strides anymore, right?
I'm guilty of
your
that.
arms are like this because you've been sitting.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, so you got to get out. You got to stretch your arms. You got to do something.
Yes. Yeah, I'm guilty of that because when I
Yeah,
sit
very,
here and I
very
do my,
important. Now for
go ahead, go ahead,
yeah, you
go ahead.
can't get up, right? You get up and things are like, what the heck? What? So for me, I I've always been a skier, biker, hiker, all that kind of stuff. So when I
Yeah,
sit more than if I don't exercise every day or every other day, by day 3 or 4, my
yeah,
body says, "What are you doing?" And it starts to stiffen up. I can't barely walk down the stairs. So
yeah.
then I get up and I go exercise and I feel better. So I have found when I wake up in the morning, I have a couple of videos, YouTube videos that I watch.
I think Marian Lopez is watching this right now. Marian, I think this is another line of service you should offer in your business. You know, maybe you should offer some juices or something to folks, some health juices that goes with those gluten-free cheesecakes that you sell.
Right, exactly. But it's but our health when we, Gilbert and I are all, we're business coaches. But if you're not well, you cannot operate a productive business. You
Right,
have to be well, both mentally and physically. And a lot of us have even though we're business coaches, our business can be very stressful. That's what I find in mine. This can be very stressful. Coaching someone, counseling someone, advising someone takes a whole lot of energy, even though it's not physical, but it does take energy. So that's why I work out, I garden, so you exercise, you do some mindful work. And then here's the last thing, as older people, as we're getting more seasoned, we want to keep our minds active, because that's when you get dementia and Alzheimer's. When you just stop talking to it, you stop interacting, you're just sitting in front of a television. Do some puzzles, get a coloring book, engage in some conversation, even if it's a lively dialogue. It keeps your brain active. Don't stop reading. Use the internet to search. If you, I Here's what I do, Gilbert. I'm watching something and somebody will say a word. It's like, oh, what's that word mean? Or what are you talking about? And I'll Google that, and then it's increasing my knowledge, but as well as keeping my brain active. So,
Coles, that's such an amazing thing. I want to share something with you and the audience right here.
uh huh.
When I live on the East Coast, when I lived in New York, my vocabulary was so much higher, so much more verbose. It was more pronounced. You see what I'm saying? And since I came here on the West Coast, it's like there are certain words I don't remember and I don't even use in my vocabulary anymore. Don't even remember the meaning of it. And then I may be watching a documentary or something and they mention the word. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that word. I remember that word. It's what I mean. Sometimes the environment in which you operate, it kind of, it kind of it dumbs you down,
Yeah, it dumbs you down, dude. It
so
dumbs
that
you
you
down.
don't think highly anymore. You're because I'm telling you, man, when I was doing undergrad and grad and my graduate program and post grad, man, my vocabulary was just super duper, you know. But then I move here, and certain things I don't do anymore, and it's like, wow,
Right.
wow. Have you ever had a conversation, right? And you
Uh-huh.
know you're fluent in what you're talking about in the conversation, but then you just can't find the right words to describe what you're trying to say. You're what is that again? It's like come on.
Right.
And
And when we first started the show, because I read a lot. I used to definitely read physical. Now I'm more of an audio a person because at the time. But then I would when I first started teaching, it's like, wait, what's this word?
yeah,
Now, because we've been doing the podcast, we got to
yeah,
think pretty fast on our
yeah,
feet, and then you're doing a lot of research. But
yeah.
yes, I know exactly what you
Oh
mean,
yeah,
because certain people you talk to don't have that as advanced
right,
vocabulary, and
right,
more people that are academics tend to
yeah,
use a
yeah,
larger vocabulary. But here's something that I've been doing, Gilbert, that I'm finding fun. There are a couple of apps like Babbel, and there's one that I use called Duolingo.
Yeah.
So when I went to Africa, when I went to Cape Town, I was like, oh, maybe I should learn how to speak Zulu. So I went on to Duolingo. So every day I'm learning new words, new
I
Zulu
love it.
languages, and
I
then you
love
have to
it.
spell them and you
Yeah.
have to pronounce them properly. So that's what I'm doing. I'm learning. I'm learning Zulu not Swahili. I mean, and next is gonna be Swahili, but I'm learning Zulu on Duolingo, and it keeps my brain active because I got to remember, and I got to be able to, it's like a matching game. You have to hear the word and then got to
Yeah.
match it to the right one. So it's actually keeping my brain active.
That's amazing. See, that's exactly what I did when I lived in Panama. When I was in Panama, I lived there for a year. So the first month or 2 or 3, I didn't know squat, didn't know anything about Spanish, couldn't speak any of it. I'm talking to people. I remember I went to a store, I'm trying to buy some milk, right? So I'm going, what the hell? How do you say milk in Spanish? I don't know. So, I see the word, right? So from our English background, when you see a word, you try to pronounce it in English. Well,
Right.
the words in Spanish, it's not pronounced the same way because
Right.
an I will sound like you sound like an E, and
Right.
an E sound like eh, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I saw the word leche, and I'm going leche. Hey, leche, can I have some leche? People are looking at me crazy, like, Kim,
What?
what the
What?
hell is this guy talking about?
La leche.
And they start laughing at me, right? I'm going, why are they laughing? Then I found out later on that I was pronouncing it the wrong way.
Right.
So ever since that, every day in Panama, every day I make it my effort to learn 5 new words in Spanish and put it in a sentence and use it. So
Okay.
that's how I developed my Spanish while I was there, man. It was amazing.
I mean,
But
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
our mental health is really critical,
Our
man. It's
mental
really
health is really critical, and so that's one of the ways you can do that. Learn some new stuff, and on top
yeah,
of that, while you're learning a new language, you're also learning a new culture, right?
yes.
Marion said, my mom too says that. So while you're learning a new culture, the other thing I do, which also helps, other than just sitting at watching mindless TV,
Yeah.
I watch international movies. So I
Yeah.
watch a lot of Korean movies.
Yes.
I watched a lot of Chinese. I watched a lot of Indian movies,
Yes.
and I have to read subtitles. And so again, your mind has got to be able to process what you're reading and at the same time keep up with the activities. And
Yeah.
at some point you find you actually know what they're saying,
Yeah.
even though you don't look at the
Right. Right.
subtitles. So
Right.
these are the things, because Crystal don't want to have Alzheimer, and Crystal doesn't want to have dementia. So Crystal is working on things now so that doesn't
you know,
happen in the
you
future.
know, it's amazing that we're working on our mental health right now because anyone who has had COVID know that if you have COVID for 2 weeks or longer, it's going to start affecting your memory because that's what it did. It affected my memory. I couldn't remember a squat when I came out of the hospital. I know people, I know their faces, but I don't remember the name. And I'm going, who is this person again? What's their name? And
Right.
people used to get upset with me.
It was it was a long hauler COVID effect. Yes,
Oh
Fernando.
man.
So I'm making sure. So I got my herbalist. I
Yeah.
have my doctor.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
cleansing my body. I'm
Yeah.
exercising, and I'm keeping my brain exercised as well. And
So
I think
as minorities, what we want to do in order to take care of our health, we want to take care of our financial health,
right,
our physical health, our mental health, and our economic health. If we take care of those 4 health categories, we will be fine, folks.
right.
We will be fine.
And the other part, Gilbert, which is what we did at the end of last year, is including love in your life. You got to have a balanced life.
Yes,
So
yes,
if you've been by yourself for years and years and years,
yes,
maybe it's time that you look at finding someone that you can share your life with. So this is
yeah.
a
Oh yeah,
whole holistic way of
yeah.
looking at and making sure that you're taking care of all of you, not just parts of you, and that will
I
help
agree.
you live longer I will tell you, if you are working, if you're a workaholic like Gilbert and I are, you
Yeah.
know, having somebody in your life could actually stop you from working 24
Yeah,
hours.
exactly. They'll go, why you gotta work so late? What is going on? Just go, okay, I'll
Yeah,
put
they
it
make you
down.
right,
We'll
make
do
you
it
feel
tomorrow.
guilty, make you not work on the weekend. So these are the important things. And so we, of course, we always in the business zone have to bring it back to business. Even our history, if we understand what our history is, it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, whether you're black, brown, you're Asian, whatever you are, understanding your history and knowing your history will help you be a better person today. And
Excellent.
so that's why it's so important. And we're into our third week of Black History Month.
Yeah,
Next week will be the last week that is the Black History Month, but we
right.
all should be celebrating our history and our culture 365 days a year. And we should be teaching this to our children. We should be proud of our history. We should be proud of what our ancestors have accomplished and understand how they have persisted and they resisted someone taking away something that's your God-given right, and that is who you are and the culture of who you are and your family's memories and the history of that. So Black history matters, Latino history matters, Asian history matters, all of it matters, and we should be passing it down from generation to generation.
That's right. And National Women's Small Business Month will be in March. So I just want all of you guys to know we're going to be celebrating that as well. Every month we will celebrate the theme of the month. So this month was Black History Month, and next month is going to be National Women in Small Business Month. So we are going to be talking to women on this program. We're going to be talking about women's issues, women's uh, resources, women's contribution to the economy. And Marian Lopez, you will be one of our guests. So make sure you provide us with your contact and all the information so we can get you in here and we will interview you about Mama Cheesecake. We want to know the history of Mama Cheesecake, how it came about, and how you're feeding so many people and making them happy.
So,
Okay?
so Marion, I'm gonna put my email in the chat in the comment section here, and I want you to send me if you'd like to be a guest on the show. Please send me your contact information and a headshot, and we will send you over the link, and you can determine which day in on March you'd like to be a guest, and we'd love to have you as a guest. And Fernando, if you have a business, we'd love to have you on as well in the month of April, because we're going to be talking about Small Business Month. And so come on the other side. We love you over on the chat side. Thank you guys for all your comments today. We so appreciate it. And go tell a friend that next week we will be back here again at 3 o'clock. And we would love for you guys to subscribe. Gilbert, a new gimmick, a new gadget that our Restream has come up with, so you guys can see the QR code right there. So click that QR code and go subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already.
So
And
how do they do this? They take their phones out and take a picture of the QR code
that's
right there?
exactly what they do, and it will take them over to our channel for them to subscribe.
All righty then, folks. You hear that? Mr. Fernando, Marilyn, Gloria, everyone who is listening, please be sure to subscribe to our site and also to click the video, like the video, so you guys can get more information from us. And just so you guys know, our anniversary, we keep telling you guys this, our anniversary is coming up in July. As a matter of fact, it's July 8th. So that's going to make 7 years that we've been in business, doing the Business Zone, Crystal and I. And this year, we're going to try to step it up and fancy it up. We're going to have a nice little location. We're going to do the Business Zone live, guys. Live! We're going to do
Right.
the Business Zone live, and we're going to have many of you there at the facility. We'll be interviewing folks live and broadcast you internationally. so you can get some international recognition. So
Awesome.
keep
Awesome.
continuing to support us, guys.
Exactly. So next week we're gonna close out Black History Month. Oh, I didn't mean to do that one. We're gonna close out Black History Month with because you all, for those of you that don't know this, I have several passions, but my one of my passions besides business is tennis, and so next week I have two of my favorite people in the tennis world that will be here. We're going to be talking about the history of Black tennis, the legends, Arthur Ashe, Althea Gibson, and so one, Robert Foster.
Serena Williams, the Williams
Yeah,
sister.
sisters. Robert Foster, he's been on the show before, but Robert Foster is actually the CFO of the American Tennis Association, which is the Black association that came about in 1916. So he's going to talk about the history of Black tennis. And then Mr. Marty Woods, who is actually the director of the youth program, the Pete Brown Jr. tennis program that I sit on the board, and he's going to talk about the present of developing Black tennis legends, and Robert will talk about the past. So join us next Friday at the same time, 3:00, and we're going to have a great conversation with those two guys. They are very passionate about tennis, and this is from a nonprofit standpoint because we provide both of those organizations provide tennis to the Black community through training and lessons, and hopefully and we've had a number of tennis. A lot of the kids have come through. Serena and Venus actually came through a program. Pete Brown, early days, they worked out with our namesake of our organization and some other individuals in the community. So come on back to us next week. We want to want you guys to have a fantastic weekend. Monday is President's Day, so enjoy your day off.
Oh, this
And
Monday is President's Day?
yes,
I had
Gilbert.
no clue.
And here's what I'm going to say to us entrepreneurs. I actually I cleared my calendar on Monday. I will be observing all holidays from here on out. I will not be working on holidays.
That's mental health, baby.
Mental health. So I called everybody and said, I'm sorry, it's President's Day. I'm incorporating the legal holidays into my work schedule.
I love it. I love it.
So I am going to be in my garden on Monday and enjoying another mental health activity, keeping my brain and de-stressing, and then I'll be back to work on Tuesday. So Gilbert, I suggest you do the same thing. Take
That's
off on
right.
Monday.
I'm going to do that. And for Fernanda Young, I want you to give us a call. Let us know when you want to be on our show. We'll be happy to interview you, talk about your business, and share your information and resources to the world so they can tap into you. So you let us know, man. Let us know when you'd like to come on the show. It can't be in March because March is Women's Month. But after that, let's get you connected to the Business Zone so you can see really how we work on the inside, as well as promoting your business to all of our resources so they can participate as well.
And I'm going to put in Askia's information here so that if you guys are looking for a practitioner, you can reach out to him. He's excellent. I'm actually, I'm on some herbs that he's provided for me, cleansing my body. So I'm on a weight management thing so that I can reduce my blood pressures because I do not want to take any blood pressure medication. And
you see, like how the blood pressure medication make men become impotent. It might,
yeah, there you go. You might want to reach out to him.
It might make your breast start shrinking. The women's breast might make it start shrinking. So
I know it's got a lot of side effects. In fact, this is how I know it's got really a lot of side effects because when I told the doctor that if we could do this through food, I had no problem. I would be very disciplined by that. And she says, yes, if you don't want to take medication, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
What? Okay. So if you guys want to reach out to Askia, the herbalist, herbalist and holistic practitioner. This is his contact information. So great person. I've known him for a number of years, and I've actually used his. We've done this before, and so now I'm back again, and because I guess I didn't stick
You
with
know,
it.
co-host, I gotta tell you this, man. If someone looking at you here live on this or looking at you in person, man, you look like you're about 40, 39, 40. You
Thank
see
you,
what I'm saying?
co-host.
You see what I'm saying? That means you're taking care of the health part, man, because I think the skin looks good, the face looks good. I can't, you don't look older than 40 to me.
Thank you, co-host. I love you, co-host.
I'm serious, man. So
Yeah,
you've been doing something good.
I drink a lot of. I'll be on a class. I'll be teaching on a class, and someone will go in the chat. Now I'm talking about whatever business, and somebody go, "How do you manage and take care of your skin?" I was like, "Huh?" And like I'm mesmerized by your skin, Crystal. What are you doing? What are your regime? What's your
Yes,
But it's
yes,
all about the water, guys. It
that's
really
right.
is. It's
I'm gonna have to start drinking some water
yeah, you got to keep your skin
so my
hydrated.
skin can look like yours and Marion's.
Okay. So yeah, going out there, guys. Take care of yourself. That's all we can say.
That's
So
right, man.
let this be the beginning of you taking care of your health, because
Yeah,
health is literally your wealth.
that's
Because if you are
right.
not healthy, you can't operate a business, you can't operate life. A whole lot of things take place that could hinder the way you function in this world.
That's true. That is true.
So make sure you go over to our site and subscribe. And Gilbert, we ready to kick out and be
Yep.
gone?
We're
All
out,
right.
guys. See you next week, 3 o'clock.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.